stressing. And think from the theme of, Rachel's post yesterday. I got on the phone with Rachel, didn't even know she was struggling. We were actually just on the phone to talk about Havasupai. 90% through the call, I'm like, yeah, if you kept going on the path that you were going on, pretty soon you'd be dropping out of the group, giving up, getting stuck, whatever. And she's like, yeah, I was actually starting to think about it. And I'm like, and we looked at it, and it's like this, like, she has everything she needs right here, but because she's choosing to hide out in the background,
From the theme of,
let me pause this thing back here.
Post yesterday. I got on the phone with.
Okay, so like her theme, her mindset of hiding out in the background, not worthy, whatever. So really want to make sure that you guys aren't playing those types of games with yourself. So if you find yourself stuck and you find yourself dealing with the same struggle you've been dealing with for a month or even a week or 2 months, speed up. It's not normal to stay stuck for months on end. Like, it's normal for normal people, but you're badasses. Badasses ask for help. Badasses show up. Badasses are authentic. Badasses ask for guidance, and they find a way to shift and break through. They don't just sit and struggle and struggle and struggle and then hide out in the corner and then disappear or give up. One of the worst things in the world for me is, well, I'll use a battlefield analogy, but and this is an analogy I told Rachel yesterday, not that life's all about battle, but there's sometimes we are going to battle. And if you and I are in the battlefield together, fighting for our dreams, fighting for our greatness, and partway through that battle, we're both injured and sore and tired, and you turn to me and you say, I can't do it anymore, and you lay down, and you give up because you're tired, you're sore, and you die. And if I give in, I'm like, yeah, you're right, you can't do it anymore, I'll go on without you, and you die. And then I go home and tell your family and friends, yeah, he, she, they gave up, they died. They won't be coming home to you. They won't be showing you their greatness. They won't be continuing to expand in their greatness. They gave up and died. That's a shitty scenario. That's a shitty-ass outcome for both of us. It's very, like, it's one of my most challenging experiences, is to walk and run and bleed with somebody and sweat and go to the depths of hell and the heights of heaven just to have them say, well, I'm going to lay down and die and give up. I'm not going to move forward. But whereas if they found and dug a little deeper and found that strength within and moved forward, we go home and they've overcome the obstacles that have been holding them back in every area of their life. And they return back to their families and demonstrate to their families how to be a badass, how to be free, how to be liberated, how to be fully expressed. So that's all I want to say about that, and just my final words on it is, guys, anywhere that you're hiding out and you're not showing up and you're not expressing and celebrating and exchanging and asking for help and breaking through and getting unstuck from those simple things. Her things were simple. She had some mindset shit around her value and worth. She had some mindset shit around packaging of her program and fear of copying other people and being too similar to other people, and fear of, stupid shit that's simple, not stupid, it's normal. Everyone has it, but it's stuff in a matter of an hour, we break through, and she could struggle for months and months on end and never get there and just give up, or she could just reach for help, and in an hour we have it all sorted out and she moves forward. So I invite you all to just take a minute and tap in and see how is it, are there places that you're doing that same thing, and what gets to shift in you so that you can get the max value, the max forward momentum, all of that. You know, how are you showing up on the board, the group forum? How are you showing up in the calls? Are you telling Kyle the struggles that you're having so that he can break you through the stuff that's holding you back? Are you showing up on the call, or are you playing like, oh no, I don't want to steal the spotlight. Oh no, I don't want to this, that, the other. Or are you asking for what you need? Are you letting us know what skill sets you need, what mindsets you need, so that on these calls we can show up and empower you there? Are you, so just really allow that to sink in and see how are you showing up and what can you do to amp that up. Marcy, anything you want to add to that?
No, that's exactly what I was feeling into as well. I was feeling like, well, what's really prevalent, and what kept coming up for me this morning was just asking like people to tune in to like what's their biggest concerns and worries. I feel like the energy has been like kind of this lately. Like some people are here and some people are down here, and those that came back from badass are like this and others are like this, and we hit these states where you start going strong and then shit wants to show up, and it's how you choose to respond is exactly what you're asking for more of. So when these things come up like you're just describing with Rachel, it's perfect feedback to go, oh, okay, what is this teaching me and telling me, and use those same basic concepts and tools and how to move forward. So for me, I was like, what is the group really, what are we filling into? What's really needed right now? Because it feels like everyone's kind of everywhere. Yeah. So I agree. We're usually on the same page, Chris.
Yes. Okay, so I guess what I would love is to hear from you guys now. What are you noticing as you tune into this?
I'll go first if you want.
Say that again.
Did you hear me?
No.
I just said I'll go first if no one else wants to.
Who cares if anyone else wants to? You spoke up, so just say I'll go first.
Fuck 'em.
Fuck 'em.
I am stuck, and I feel like I've never felt about quitting or giving up because I feel like I get immense value out of these calls, but I kind of feel like I'm just going through the motions. I'm learning so much, but without the application of knowledge, it's kind of stupid. It's like it's reading a book. So I've done tons of work on my relationship. I've done tons of work on my physical body. I really still struggle with my diet. I don't struggle with it. I guess I just make bad choices. But I've showed up for myself in ways. The only thing I'm not showing up at is in business. And I feel handcuffed and I feel tied to this stupid job that I'm working so many hours. So my excuse is I don't have time. And the truth is I just haven't made the time. And I haven't really taken action on anything. When Rachel was talking about being here and the only thing she's taken very small steps, so did I. I tried to make a video yesterday morning. I was doing a video telling people about Marcy's green smoothie thing. And halfway through the video, my camera fell down and bounced down, and I was like, oh, that was an epic fail. I'll do it again tomorrow. And then I got up this morning, and my daughter wanted me to make her breakfast, so I made her breakfast instead of making my video. And it's like I always find reasons not to take action. There could be a 1 mile an hour wind that blows by, and that just gets me right off target of what I really know I'm supposed to be doing.
So I invite you, Sean, to tune in before we give you any answers. Tune in and tell us the answers. What needs to change in you? Turn that around.
I really want to show up for myself better. I feel unworthy of being a health and fitness and lifestyle coach right now.
So the reason why you're not following through and marketing and doing that is that you don't feel worthy to do it.
Yeah.
So now be with
that.
that.
You say that I have all this experience and all these years, and I know that to be true.
Yeah. Okay, so now get into further wonderment. What gets to happen for you to shift that?
what gets to happen is I just need to take a step and be okay with the outcome. I'm afraid of failure of putting myself out there and not signing anybody up. I'm afraid of failure of putting it out there and however people will see me. So I see all these inspirational quotes about, you know, what other people think about you is their reality, not yours, but I let that affect me. And I don't know why that translates into me treating myself the way I do. I think it's more so just an action step of stepping out in faith and finding out what happens and shifting, rather than projecting all these negative ideas of what I think will happen.
You know how many times I watched, so I used to judge the hell out of that and have the same issue, and Garrett helped me break through it. And here's what he would do. Hey guys, we're launching a book together. We're going to co-author it with 12 of us. It's going to be awesome. And put it out on Facebook. We're co-authoring the blah, blah, blah book. It's epic. It's going to come out in December. No book. I went through and wrote my shit and turned it all in. And 6 or 8 of the guys didn't. Half of us did and half of us didn't. And the book never came. But all you saw, no one noticed that I never heard anyone say, hey, where's the book that you said was going to come out in December? I didn't hear one person say a damn thing about that. But everyone sure as hell went, woo, that's awesome. And if you paid attention to how many things Garrett has said he was going to do that actually didn't happen, it's a lot.
Because he's a fire starter, not a follow-througher.
So I used to judge that, like, oh, that fire, the integrity, and the whatever. But beyond all that, the essence is, holy shit, he knows how to start fires. He's willing to put himself out there. He has the dream. He fucking puts it out there. And a lot of it happens. And some of it doesn't. And whoop-de-fuck. And no one seems to give a shit. There might be a few people really looking in the background saying, adding it up, like, he said he was going to do this and he didn't. But even if they are, they're focused on the stupid shit. Instead of getting the value that he has, they're focused on what's wrong with him, and so they're missing the whole point of receiving his value and his gift and applying it in their life and moving forward. So we can be lost in that perfectionist persona or identity, or you can just start putting it out there. So say you said, I'm launching a group. Who's in? And no one signs up. It's crickets. All you hear is a cricket in the background. No one gives a shit, dude. In fact, no one even knows. And the worst case scenario, rather than saying a big ass promotion that says, I'm launching the hit of the century, it's the 90-day health challenge, join me in my revolution. You don't even have to say that. You show up every day and post value and say, message me if you're ready to take on your health. And then they message you and you enroll somebody and you start coaching them one-on-one. Even though it's not the best use of your time, you just say, I'm going to coach you one-on-one till I launch the group. Meantime, you enroll another. Private message me every couple days. Every day you're providing value, posting tips. Once or twice or 3 times a week, you're offering someone to reach out and private message you. You're getting into an epic conversation, providing massive value, enrolling them, even if it's a lower price ticket that allows you the confidence to say this is certainly worth this low price. And then you get 3 or 4 or 5 of them and say, okay, I'm launching the group. You put all them in the group, and there never was a large, big ass to do to the whole world. No one gets to measure. Like, people have no idea how many clients I have or don't have. People have no idea what programs I launch or don't launch. They just see me show up and provide value every day and invite people to get in conversations. And then they see all my people posting testimonials and epic experiences and all of that. So the social proof, it's all just in my favor. One, because I'm just providing value. If you hate me for providing value, fuck off. Right? Anyone who's out there judging me because I show up every day and share insights that bless people's lives, fuck off. It's the last person in the world I care what they think. And then if I show up every day and provide value, and occasionally I ask for some small thing, and they're not willing to make an exchange, they just want to take, fuck off. Right? So I provide value, and there's never, you haven't been thinking anything about what I'm launching, not launching. You just think I'm a badass in general. And the same thing will happen for you. If you just show up and provide value, and then get into some private conversations, and then serve people, and then launch them into a group, no one's going to be looking to see what's wrong with you and laugh at you because you fell down. No one. No one's paying attention to that. They're not, they're so self-consumed in their own bullshit, they don't have time to worry about whether you fill the group or not.
I can't believe how stupid and basic and simple you make that seem. That's just, you're fucking right. That's just so right.
When you look at it consciously, Sean, it becomes funny. Like yesterday on my mastermind, one of the girls, she was talking about how the up-leveling, right? This up-leveling dilemma, where all of a sudden you find yourself, there's a reason why you want to sabotage doing those actions. For you, it's like, well, I was going to do the video, but this happens. The first thought I had for you is, even when you drop, the reason why people will follow you and buy for you is because you're real. So if you drop the camera, it would be more awesome you pick it up and you're like, aha, drop the camera in the middle of my thing, back to it, right? Like, this is why, and it's part of you also speaking at a core level. I'm perfect, whole, and complete in whatever I am and whoever I'm being in every experience, and there is no judgment. I don't give a fuck what you think, because I'm happy being me. This happened, I'm not going to try to hide it. So when you show up that way, people are more drawn to you, that you're real. You're not a mask put together. It's funny when people got into my 90-day program at first, when I first ran it in gyms, and they laugh at my old videos because I was like, I'd show up as a perfectionist. Hey, this is how you lift weights, and this is how you eat. Because I was so worried about judgment. You guys think I'm funny, right? So worried about judgment, okay? And they're like, I can't believe that was you. Can you imagine me giving a shit what anybody thinks? Now it's like I go on TV and I'll be like, did I just do that on national TV in my head after I do something totally like dumbass? And I'm like, yep, I did. Well, I guess that's me. And being totally accepting of who you are and how you show up is what's going to make people love you. They come to you for your identity. And if you're masking yourself, you're attracting people who aren't going to really like the real you, and you're not going to really like working with them. So just dropping all stories. What if you dropped all stories and judgments and attachments of anything being right or wrong, good or bad, this or that, and it just is? So, and this is in every experience you have. If it feels like what you would have labeled it as an epic fail, it feels like it's just like, oh, feedback of what works and what doesn't work when I'm doing a video. But it's like nothing is wrong. So again, when you drop these stories, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, all I'm doing is speaking that this is what I'm offering. And something that I feel like you get to hear that will assist you in that is that realize it's just about you sharing your journey and message. You're not saying, hey, so you had the feeling of I'm not worthy of teaching health and nutrition and living this life, right? I remember breaking through that as well, okay? Because I was like, well, who really is going to listen to me? I'm just this stay-at-home mom who's a personal trainer. Like, I'm afraid people are going to call me out and be like, well, how much do you know? What schools did you go to? How much nutrition do you know? How much fitness do you know? And like, and it was this big worry about I'm not knowledgeable enough. I'm not good enough. Who am I to share this knowledge? What I realized is Have I been through whatever path I've been through is given me experience that's what I want to share. I'm just declaring, I'm sharing with you my experience. So I don't say, hey, I'm the best, I know the most about nutrition in the entire world. I'm the best nutrition expert. I'm the best fitness expert. I'm like, guess what? There's millions of fitness and nutrition experts out there. There's a load of them. What I am sharing with you is my journey, my path, my message. There's a reason why I'm passionate about teaching you what's going on inside you and these other aspects, and all I'm going to share with you is my path, what I experienced that gave me freedom, and I'll share with you what I learned. I'm not declaring to be the ultimate expert. I'm simply saying I have my experience that I want to share with you. So if it comes from you, you're just saying, hey, I want to share with you what I've learned to show up in more health and energy and vitality in life. You take away the story of they're going to label me based on worth, based on what society says makes me credible. Who the fuck cares? You have a message. Are you going to share it or not?
Yes.
Awesome. That's all that really matters. So then catch yourself, what I would say, catch yourself in the moment you find yourself going into a sabotaging pattern, such as, okay, I committed to do the video today. Why did I find other reasons to do it? What's coming up for me? And when you ask the questions, you're like, it's because I'm really afraid of the judgment. I'm afraid of people are going to say this about me. And then you evaluate it consciously. You get to like where Chris was, where you're like, haha, that's so fucking silly. So my original thought to share with you around this was, yesterday when I was coaching in my mastermind, this one girl, she's broken through so much shit. She's up-leveling like crazy in her business, hitting all her targets bigger than she's ever imagined. Now she's all of a sudden feeling this up-level, and she's like, the thought comes up for her is, if I have all this is happening, something bad's going to happen in my life. Because how many of us have the belief system that only one or two things can be awesome and not everything, so she thinks something shitty is going to happen. Every time something great in life happens, something horrible happens too. So in explaining this, she literally, in a room where she's totally safe, she goes from talking about this anxiousness is coming up in me, I'm afraid now that I'm hitting all this and my family's awesome and all these things are turning into awesome, something bad's going to happen because, you know, when I got married, this happened. When this happened, this happened. When all these good things in my life happened, something hugely dramatic and horrible happened. And she's sitting in a room totally safe expressing this, and she goes into tears, feeling the fear and all this. And it's like, when we evaluate it, we're like, okay, let's look at this. Are you in a room? Are you totally safe? Is your family safe? Like, consciously, nothing is even going on, but because we have the thought, we create the feeling of fear, and she's in a room literally believing something horrible is going to happen to my family. And when you look at it and we evaluate it and we break it all down, we're like, isn't this silly? Haha, how our mind works, that literally I can be here in this room where everything is safe, there's nothing wrong, life is epic, my relationships are now kicking ass, my business, all these things, and yet I'm creating stories in my head that have me literally shut down in emotion and fear and creating a different experience for me right now when, look around, like it's all good. That's what your mind can do to you, Sean. And that's what you're going into, and you're like, I don't feel worthy, I don't feel all these things, I'm not a health expert. So your mind's taking you outside of yourself, instead of when you look at it consciously, you laugh. Like when Chris broke it down, you're like, that is pretty damn silly. So I told her, I gave her the opportunity, I said, I'd love you to break it down and to laugh at it. Be like, haha, that's right. That was the past me, that was the past thoughts, that was the past patterns. That's me, you know, of course this is why I'm feeling fear right now, is because I'm worried about judgment. That's, oh my gosh, that's so silly that I'm creating that thought. What is true? I have a message to share. What is true? Every experience I do is the perfect experience for me to get better at this message. Every video I do, every time I do a Facebook post, everything. So dropping all judgment stories, the judgment is coming from you, not from other people. That's what you get to realize. You're saying you're worried about other people judging you, you're judging yourself.
Boom.
Does that free you, Sean, to move forward powerfully?
It actually makes me literally feel lighter right now. I'm just like, all right.
That's what we do. That's what you do when you give yourself permission to just look at it consciously and be a creator in the moment consciously, instead of letting your stories and your thoughts and your past shit rule your life. You're that fucking powerful, Sean.
encourage you from here, Sean, to write down action items, next steps. What do you get to do to break the pattern of excuses and waiting, and seriously just get relentless? So your last, my job, still stuck, not really spending the time I want to spend on my business and liberation. So, okay, write out the action items and get on it. Don't just fucking go through the motions.
Okay.
Fucking do it. Core 4 don't mean jack shit. Showing up and saying, I got a 26, don't mean jack shit if you don't convert it. It's giving you power and inspiration, and then you get to take action to build the shit you said you wanted. And then you reap the success and you keep building upon that. Other than that, going through the motions is a fucking waste of time.
I agree. It's actually cool. This whole process is really cool for me to learn, because I'm learning that every negative outcome that I perceive that's going to happen never really happens. And that kept me from being honest with my wife for a long time, and then we stepped through that, and it was great. Doing meditation I perceived was stupid, and I stepped through that, and it was great. So I'm actually excited to make this post. I'm excited to start.
Awesome.
Boom.
Shakalaka boom, Brandon.
And I'm doing fine in the getting laid part, so now I want to get paid.
Snap.
Amazing how much authenticity works as an aphrodisiac. Now let's get you paid.
Right.
Okay, what else? We got any hiders? Any other hiders out there? We got Rachel on now. Welcome.
Rachel.
Rachel came out of the closet yesterday.
That's good. I always knew she wanted me. Going grabbing my ass and like sending me love messages. Like,
I do send you love messages, don't I?
yes, you do.
I'm in the cell. Just know.
I love it.
Did you hear me?
No, what was the last part?
I made a cell just now.
Oh, boom.
Awesome! Good job, babe.
You're officially, what's the word? Like your tardiness has been completely, shit, I don't know the word for it, but you're totally acceptable to be late. We said the rule was you can be late as long as you're getting paid or laid.
Yep.
You're
Paid
getting
or
paid,
late.
so.
Okay, I'll remember the second one.
Josh will agree with that one, right?
Let's all celebrate. That's frickin' epic, Rachel. Woo!
Yay! Good job, darling.
Away and make money. Boom. One day.
Yep.
Struggle for months in the shit, or speak up, get a shift, and collect. Now.
Yep.
Anything you want to add to that, Rachel? Anything you would share with the group around that?
Well, it feels a lot better to not struggle. Not as hard to make money as it is as hard to be in your shit.
Yep.
That was one of the cool parts of our conversation yesterday, huh? She's like, yeah, but it's so hard to... I'm like, seriously? Let's look at it. Is it hard to make money and do what you love and serve people? Or is it hard to stay stuck, mentally masturbate, be broke, demonstrate to your kids how to be small, victim-y, and powerless, and not do what you love, and be, all this stuff? Which one of those is hard? She's like, oh, shit, I guess that one I've been doing, not the other alternative.
So what's cool is yesterday Chris and I talked about starting out at even just, if I felt comfortable even just selling at $100 a month, start. Like, just move and then expand. But you want to know what's really cool is I sold her for $400 a month.
Whoa!
Nice, babes. That's awesome.
I know isn't like rolling in the dough, but that's okay. It's a start. 400's way more than I make at, well, that's all my night classes that I dropped after Goddess. That's all my night classes on one person.
That's awesome.
Yesterday.
That's how easy it is when you recognize it's not about the quality of time you give them, it's about the value that you give them. So you just, like, instead of you putting all your time towards night classes, you realize the value you can give one person and have a couple calls with them or whatnot and recreate that same income.
And something else that was really cool for me to hear is she said that she has been researching for the last 6 months. She's researched about 50 trainers. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. Like, how did she even research me? And she said the one thing, she goes, I love how you speak. I love the emotional part. I love that you, she goes, I want someone by my side. And she goes, and I love that you actually go into the emotional part of food. And I was like, thank you, Marcy Locke, for teaching me that. Because I wouldn't ever have known to do that. I wouldn't be different than all the other trainers in our area if I didn't do that.
Yep. And you're great at it, babes.
Thank you.
So awesome. And one of the things that's standing out is yesterday in our conversation, I was allowing her to tell me the price points, even though I was like, shit, those are small price points. I was like, okay, that's as far as she's willing to stretch right now. But I kept helping her to see further and further. And yesterday, Rachel, the furthest you said, okay, I'll charge 100 for my first group. And then the next group I could do 200. And then the next group I could do 400. And then the next group I could do 800, and that's the most you could see then. But because of the shifts yesterday that you chose to make, in one day, you already went to the $400 price range. So you skipped the 100, you skipped the 200, and jumped straight to the 400. So you up-leveled to almost the highest price point you could imagine yesterday. You actually charged that today. And then one of the key concepts there, guys, is we always tend to make decisions from where we're at currently. That's one of the things I was helping you see, Rachel, was you were like, well, I don't know, and this and that, and moving forward. I'm like, well, if you stay the person, are you going to stay the person you are today for the next 6 months, or are you going to seriously up-level day in and day out and be a completely larger person so that when you are running an 800-person $1 a month group, then that problem that seems so huge right now will be a minor problem. And that if you're expanding exponentially every single day, or even in small increments every day, you're getting closer and closer to that, it gets easier and easier. And so there's this thing, guys, quit thinking that just because of who you are today, that's not who you're going to be in a month from now, or 2 or 3 months from now, or 6 months from now. You expand into a bigger person, which allows you to take on bigger challenges, because what used to be a wall is now just a step. Yes. And Rachel, the other thing about that is it's an upper limits thing. So as you've charged 400 now, really spend some time breathing into that and reinforcing, I am so worth more than 400. And breathing it in and feeling what it feels like to be paid that much and experience that, so that that becomes your norm instead of like this peak, holy shit, I charge so much. It's like, of course I charge this much. That's the least. And that's normal. So that, because the more you breathe into that and you acclimate your system to have that be the norm, the more you're going to, keep up leveling quicker and quicker.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks.
Proud of you, babes.
Thank you. I'm proud of myself.
Good Yeah. Celebrate that.
Who's next? What else wants to be taught today?
I have a question.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. What I'm feeling stuck on is so much less than I was feeling stuck on before. So I would like to celebrate you guys and honor that, because I'm actually feeling excited about my business and confident in myself. I do have to admit, I'm a Marcy Lock junkie, and I actually have your meditation voice running in my head, literally running in my head when I'm on the computer about 3 hours a day. So I figure if I replace my own negative thoughts with just your voice, I get like a patient call comes in, I'm like, shit, I shut Marcy off. Where the hell is the window before like the video connects? So it's working for me.
Awesome.
So, and I understand the concept of 3x3, and I go to sit down and I go to do that because I need to expand my reach and basically, you know, my friends list. I have a business page with a bunch of people on it that never see my posts because I don't pay for any posts, even though those are 300 people I don't know. My other page, it's, you know, friends, family, other people that I friended, but I sit down and I'm like, I don't actually know who to go to. And I'm sitting here and, you know, I have, like just today, I was like, okay, I could do a Modern Mom Project intensive, and I'm going to launch an Epic Parenting magazine by Valentine's Day, and then the Heal Thy Position or Healthy Position Network. Like, I have all these ideas, but I need people. I need to actually figure out. And I just talked to my husband today, and I was like, I think it's time I need to get on his calendar, but I haven't felt that my business was enough of a business to actually put money behind the marketing. But I don't know who to send my friend request to. I'm like, where do I find the people that I'm supposed to 3x3x3ing?
My best answer, I want to hear what you have to say, Marcy. My best answer, I would probably just, the way I would answer that for you would be for me to get on Facebook right now and describe my thought process as I friend some people. Marcy?
I was going to say the same thing. So is your market more the doctors, or is your market more just people who are interested in really healing with their children, helping their children, parents?
Right now, my market is parents. I mean, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm coaching in, and that's what I'm focused on. So.
Okay, so
it could be doctors, but they're not specifically doctors.
Is it women or men or both?
My target market is women. It's women. They're the ones I relate to. I do have I have a couple I coach, so it's a husband and a wife, but primarily women.
So I'd look for, you might try typing in different, you know how you can search different subjects, and it might be parenting, it might be, holistic parenting, or like things that are around the avenues that you teach, and you find those groups, and that's where you find people that you start to target with adding your friends. Okay, and then it's going to be, if you, like, what's interesting is this is a whole other market. I had somebody watch my TV show I did with my boys the other day, where I asked them, like, their perceptions about life and all these things, and they were like, oh my gosh, you should do this whole market for parents that want to learn how to break through their own shit, and because the cost is that their kids are getting the same thing. I'm like, yeah, that's a whole other market I could do, but I just haven't focused on it. So the thought is, like, when I do these little videos with my kids, all these people share them, because it's like, so for instance, you might do something with your kids individually, specifically. Like, my kids will do, every time the cleaners come, we use those markers, those crayon markers, and we write up on their bathroom mirror. They write their affirmations for the week. They write the things that they're focused on. So even when we were moving to California, I'd done a video with them that, like, they had fears showing up because they got certain perceptions given to them from their dad with them moving, that, oh, it was going to be scary, they were losing their friends, they were losing their family, all these things. So it was like, interesting, what perception do we get to create? And so it was like, Skylar's was like, I'm excited for all my new friends, and, you know, adventure is fun, and life is exciting and changing, and Gavin's was, you know, so they write on the mirror their specifics, and we did a video of how they chose to do this to help them choose the perceptions they wanted, and they could read it every day in the mirror, or them doing their mirror exercises. And that video, like 1 million people shared it because they're like, oh my gosh, I should do this with my kids. And then so you might do something like that, is start to share the tools that you actually live in and you teach. Do a video with your kids or about your kids, and you do that, and like people end up sharing it, and then they add you because they're like, oh my gosh, we got to follow her. She does this awesome stuff with her kids. And you'll draw in those people that might just be commenting like, this was awesome and amazing. And you might message them, or they say, I would love to, you know, get better at communicating with my kids. And you message them. That's a red flag on your Facebook page, of them saying, hey, I'm interested in what you do. You message them personally and be like, I'm so glad that that assisted you. You know, I do. You know, I'd love to give you more support. What's really going on with you and your kids, and open up a conversation with them, right? So those are the thoughts for me. It's start to share more of what you do through Facebook. It might be you being committed to doing a video every day, or doing a post with a picture of stuff you're doing with your kids. Start to let people see in what you're actually doing. And then look for the market of people that are around parenting and women. And it might be I'm filling into, it's like, because I know what you do is more holistic, right? It's more on the side of like, of like really something around that aspect too. Like who is going to be a market of people that are interested in the stuff that you do, and search those people on Facebook. Search those groups, etc., and then that's how you can start to. Those are the people you're going to start to target at as well. But I think you just sharing who you are and what you do is going to make people start to share that, and then you're going to draw in a lot of people who are interested in you. That's why I get so many people just Facebook message me, because someone that follows me shared my video, and then they loved it and they shared it, etc., and then they're following me. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Videos are my maybe my greatest fear right now, but I guess I can get past that. Yeah, I do belong to a lot of those groups, and I guess I have to get past my story that I'm like, well, you know, I'll go in and I'll contribute and get positive feedback, but I don't you know, they don't know that I'm a coach, and I don't want to steal Genevieve's people or steal this person's people in their question and answer group, so then I don't end up taking it any further, because I feel like I'm pilfering.
That's a thought process that if you look at, it's like, okay, so Chris and I both believe and teach a lot of the same concepts, but we do it in our own way and in our own languaging. And certain people are drawn to Chris and certain people are drawn to me, but it's like we get to, if you believe in that there is no competition, there is like, I can only honor the greatness and genius that he offers that I could never be. I could never be Chris, and I don't want to be Chris. Chris can never be me, and he doesn't want to be me, because we honor each other's genius. We both have, like, we both can break through people's shit in different ways. And so even if you're just adding value on, say, a page of someone else that you think is a coach, and people don't know you're a coach, you're just adding value and share support of what they do as well. So what happens is, so say Darren Casey, for instance, is a fitness expert, and if I was the normal mindset frame, I'd be like, ooh, competition, let me stay away from him. But because I literally drew him into my space and supported him, he realized there's things he can learn from me, and now he's a personal client of mine. Right? And it's like, I can also say, I don't want to teach guys, high-level guys, this specifically, that's more of his genius. I can share and support there. So you'll find that there's avenues that maybe you're genius at and avenues that they're genius at that you might end up working together.
Right. So
when you drop the stories of, what I'm hearing in your words is, I'm not of worth or value. I might not be as good, or I wouldn't. And so it's like you're convincing yourself or validating, I wouldn't, you know, I don't want to hurt anybody or you know, take anyone's clients or all these things or be seen this way, so I'll just stay back and I won't be hurt.
Right.
Right? Instead of what value, if you're just posting on someone's page and you're making comments, it's because you're adding value and you're just there to give value in what you see, and you support them and they support, and if someone wants to be like, oh my gosh, she's trying to do something, that's their own bullshit. But I doubt that would even come up. That's just your fear that you're projecting. Instead, it's like, great comment, great post to this person. I love your feedback on this. I also believe in this concept and doing this as well. So glad to see other people promoting this and supporting this, and other people follow you. So people are going to be drawn to you because they're drawn to you, Tiffany. And it's not about, it's not It's not taking away, it's adding to their life. It's adding to their value. I would want every single person to be exposed to Chris. Every single person, because I believe in what he does. And because I believe together we're always stronger. I am never going to be the master and jack of all trades. In my program, I always talk about I want people to then move on and continue to up-level and continue to grow. And the more I learn and the more coaches I interact with, the more I realize there is to learn. And it's only going to make my life greater. So when you believe the same concept, that we're all here to help each other on our journey and support, it's just like you're in that energy flow of creation and accepting. But when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in competition with them, you're literally blocking. You're blocking people coming into your space. And it's really just saying, I'm not worthy of it. I'm not important enough to speak up, and you are.
Oh, I am, yeah.
So that's that for you.
So let's look at an analogy outside of you. So if you look at Garrett and myself, some of what we share is the same, some of what we share is similar, and some of what we share is different. But if he posts something, if I'm like, whatever, then I just ignore it. If he posts something, I'm like, that's really good, then I just like it. If he posts something, I'm like, I could really improve on that. What I don't want to do is go in and sound like the know-it-all douchebag who's trying to steal the limelight from him, or to down or go against what he's saying. So I'm strategic about how I go in, and I think, okay, how can I add to this in a way that edifies what he's saying, and add what I could add that would add value to the marketplace. And something I demonstrated to Rachel yesterday is when you think that there's scarcity of people, if there's 7 billion people on the planet, and Garrett has 50 clients, would it be all right for me to have 50 clients and Garrett to have 50 clients, and there's not some scarcity of clients? And that if out of those people, because not everybody likes me, some people might view me, like if they're a full-on warrior, they'll probably think I'm some weird new age pussy, right? And they'll be like, whatever, that dude pussy. Garrett's the man. And the next person might think, well, no, Garrett, he's all whatever, and he's loud, and Christopher's more authentic, and he this, blah, 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 and they might want to come with me. So most of it's just bullshit stories everyone's making up. They're misinterpreting what's actually being said and making up their stories and buying into it, and they're attracted and repelled for various reasons, and most of it's bullshit. But what is true is some people will be called to participate with Garrett, and some people will be called to participate with me. Like Jonathan, originally, I think, was following Warrior, or following me when I was a part of Warrior, and he felt drawn to me, not Garrett. So there's no, like, I don't give a shit who goes to Warrior. All I know is that if I show up, my people will come. And whether that be on Garrett's thread or any of your guys's, you guys post something epic and I feel inspired to add to it, I'm going to add to it. And the chances are there's someone you know who's following your shit, who sees my comment and thinks, holy shit, he's brilliant, I got to follow him. And then they start following me regularly, and some of the people who you know that I've never known before are going to end up being my clients. And I feel zero remorse for that. Zero. Is all that clicking for you in some new ways?
Yeah, it is. It is. Thank you. I mean, I was just having a conversation today with a fellow coach about, how many people there are and how many moms there are in the world, and how many do we really need to fill an event if we give it enough time and create relationship. I was literally coaching someone else on that today, but then I just sort of like, who am I going to friend? And I'm like, I don't know. So.
Look at Jonathan's advice that he's typed in the chat over here.
Yeah, I will. And
spot on.
Yeah, I just joined some of the unschooling group stuff too, because that's sort of what that's what we do here. So, I will get more involved.
And then an example of how I add to the conversation without stealing the limelight or making it look like I'm in contradiction is, say Garrett said, "Do the fucking work." And I'm like, I might say, that's so true. That was such a big breakthrough for me. It's made all the difference in the world. So glad you taught me that. Thank you. And the other thing that's critical for people to be aware of is that along with doing the outer work and following through and taking action and not just going through the motions, to do the inner work so that they'll feel worthy and then allow themselves to have that success. So the way that was presented is completely different. And if you just imagine, say we were at an event and we're all talking in a circle and everyone's jibber-jabbering everywhere, and Garrett's back in the back of the room, blah, 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 just do the fucking work, don't be a pussy. And if I walk up and I contradict him and I cut him off and I step in front of him and I try to steal the show, then it's like, who's this douchebag busting into the conversation, trying to steal the limelight rather than honoring this person who we're listening to and talking to? Mm-hmm. But if I come into that circle and I'm like, that is so awesome, you're so right, Garrett, I acknowledge him, I add to, I don't try to one-up him as I'm the alpha, I own this, you're nothing, you're wrong, you're anything. I don't do anything to take away from what he's doing. I completely edify everything he's saying. And then I just add value in addition to that. So now I'm part of it. I'm part of the group. I'm part of him. I'm the momentum they felt with him, they just feel like I'm adding to that. So they're just like, oh, yeah, this is awesome. And pretty soon they're thinking, well, he's cool and he's cool. And so now we're both in the runnings to continue the conversation. And then I can easily say, hey, man, to someone later on, hey, we really ought to talk. Later on, let's go to lunch later. And that can become something more without, any type of competition or anything. So, on Facebook, the way that looks is you may take my post, you may take on a parenting forum, someone might be talking about on unschooling forum, yeah, the blah, 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 and my kids. And it triggers a thought, and you can add something of value. You can contribute in a way that is what I just demonstrated. And then at the same time, you can turn and private message that very same person. So yesterday I had a sales call with a guy who posted in a private forum that was for sales and marketing or something. And he's like, man, I'm just stuck. I don't know what to do. Well, to me, I hear opportunity. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, yeah, I know that guy a little bit through Facebook. I know I could solve the problem. It's just advancing to the next level. So I private message him, hey, dude, let's schedule a call to get you unstuck. All right, yeah. Get on. I coach him. I blow his world up for a half hour. And I say, dude, you got to get in this. You got to come to have a supai. You get to look at my group coaching program, this. He's like, yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. So that's just conversation after conversation. You're reaching out, connecting with people, and every time you can see they have a problem that you have the solution to, just further the conversation. Get on the phone and say, hey, I'd love to support you with that. Rock their world for 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Show them a bunch of things that are massive breakthroughs, and then make an offer. It's really simple. It's as natural can be. If you didn't see my video I posted when Marcy and I were in Vegas at Gulliver's sales event, you can probably find it on my Facebook page and my YouTube page, but it's called Sales.
I hope you can find it there, otherwise I drop the ball.
Yeah.
I'll have to go see.
But that one, you probably forwarded that and moved that, distributed that, but it was a video on sales is one of the most virtuous things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's exactly that. It's so simple. You're just communicating with people, you're hearing their problems, and you're creating more connection, hearing them, and then providing a solution.
Thank you.
Brandon, Jonathan, Marcy.
Awesomeness, buddy boy. I'll always speak up when I have something to say.
Awesome. You don't need any prodding.
I don't need an invitation. I give myself permission. Fuck y'all.
I just want to say I feel really good. Feel like I'm going into uncharted territory, but I mean it's just like all the worries I had last week. I'm just like bringing on, and I feel like Leslie depends on me. I depend on me. This group depends on me. So maybe a little bit of pressure, but it's more like excitement, like, okay, I get to prove myself and I get to own it.
Totally. Love it. You feel stuck anywhere? Is there any skill sets or mindsets you would like to have, or you feel like you got everything you need and you're on course and in power? And
Oh yeah, I think definitely with like the techniques and everything is like, okay, I already know what I need to do with the Facebook training we had, and then Cancun that handled all the inner shit. So
sweet. Awesome. Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good too. I'm not really stuck anywhere. I think the sales conversation is a pretty. I could talk more about that specifically because when I'm having sales conversations, a lot of the time it's just like if I'm going through the 5 gates and I'm just like, okay, well you're here and you want to be here and that sucks. But maybe like like how do you impact that gap a little bit more? So I kind of do ripple effects as they're telling me about their problem, like where they're at. It was like, oh yeah, my relationship with my wife isn't where I want it to be. Okay, do you carry that into work? How does that affect your work life? How does that affect your business? How does that affect your health? How does that affect your evenings? So I do all those, but then when it comes to just like really highlighting the gap, I pretty much am just saying like, okay, well, this is where you're at, this is where you want to be, you're not there, that sucks, and then I move on to the next step. And I think I'm probably missing some good impact there. Like, you mentioned like rocking their world for 15 or 30 minutes. Do you actually go in and actually start like, maybe this is the issue, maybe like calling out like what part of the problem, like maybe even starting to coach them in that moment when you're highlighting the gap. So yeah, I'm not really stuck there, but I think there might be some nuggets there that I'm not fully understanding.
Awesome. So before I answer that, let me read Kyle's notes. So I check in with Kyle weekly and ask him what's going on with the group, what are you seeing, what patterns, what are you seeing, so that we keep that connection, that loop, and things going forward. So his notes to me this week were, Jonathan and Brandon both seem to be struggling currently with closing the sales. He says both seem to have long sales conversations that provide lots of value, but have not been converting at a high ratio. So this is perfect with what he was saying, so we'll dive into that. And then it said Sean, Sue, and Rachel seem frustrated with packaging. And then he said Sue seems to be wrestling with her relationship and owning her power to choose and create how she wants it. So we'll let Sue's be what it is and continue to support her as we move forward, and you guys can think about how to support her with really owning her power and her voice and freeing up the energy that she's consuming in struggle in the relationship to be able to utilize that energy to move forward, being her full expression in the world. Yes, I'm aware she's watching on YouTube. Thank you, Rachel. And yes, Rachel, earlier you said even commenting on each other's stuff and networking within our own circle is going to expand our relationships. When you comment on my post, and I have 5,000 followers, if you comment something epic that my followers like, you get all of my people seeing your epic shit. And then they're going to be friend requesting you and liking you and following you. So absolutely, the more we comment on each other's stuff, if you just like it, no one gives a shit. They're never going to see you. If you even just make a dumb comment, it's like, that's awesome, great job. No one gives a shit. You didn't contribute. You're just a cheerleader. But to get in and add, it's like, Marcy, what's your quote? There's spectators.
There's spectators, participants, and there's creators.
So the creator is creating, that's the post you create. The participant, part-times you're participating in the conversation by adding value and creating and taking it a step further by creating value in the conversation. Or you can just like and say, great job, that's awesome. And sometimes I do a little bit of that just to encourage them. But if I'm actually paying attention to furthering my message and my reach and expanding my network, then I'm adding value. I think, what else could I say here that would people go, damn? And I don't want it to just be value. I want to utilize, just like in our marketing posts, we want to do a pattern interrupt. We want a headline that captures attention. So, think about, how am I structuring this message in such a way that it stands out from the white noise, it captures attention, establishes me as a thought leader, adds value, helps them accomplish. So Garrett's formula is real, raw, relevant. How does this help them? Is it real? Is it raw? And the relevant piece is it helps them get what they want. That's the relevant piece. It helps my ideal client get what they want. So when I'm speaking to them and I'm sharing that message, I need to tie that into how that helps them get what they want. So I might say, if I was talking about parenting, maybe someone said, I've been arguing with my kids, I'm just not sure what to do. And I might add, the first place to look when arguing with kids is inside and see what's happening in you, clear that up in you, and it'll clear up in them. And so, by the way, if you guys are sick of struggling and all the bullshit, what I can tell you is there's a whole bunch of limiting mindsets and stories and beliefs about parenting that if you keep following what was modeled for you, you're going to keep struggling, and the problem's not going to end. So the real path is to upgrade your operating system around what it means to parent. And there's some great ways and resources to do that if you're interested and you'd like to have an enjoyable experience and have your kids grow up and be massively successful and love you. Private message me. So see, that post was loaded with value, loaded with insight, loaded with indicators of their gap, and loaded with me being a thought leader and having the answers and a roadmap, loaded with the benefits that they receive that they're wanting, and a call to action to fucking reach out to me. That one fucking post on any forum or group would easily get me 2, 3, 4 private messages, and out of those I'm going to get 2 to 3 clients. Awesome, Brandon. Okay, so Jonathan, and let's talk about cells and converting the cell. So one of my challenges early on as a coach, and this is probably your problem, Jonathan, and possibly what Kyle's talking about for you too, Brandon, is I knew that value was the key, that value follows value, right? And so I knew that providing value was critical up front. The next thing I knew was that my innate genius was to coach people. That was the most natural thing for me to do. And then I had this resistance around actually selling, and then some fear around collecting the money. I would have this uprising energy that would come up and freak out inside of me. So one of the things I would tend to do would be to coach someone up to death and provide massive value for 2 hours. But at the end of it, they would feel like, okay, great, thank you so much. I now have what I need. I'll go apply this, and thank you. And then I would spend, 2 hours coaching this person, 2 hours coaching that person, 2 hours coaching that person. They'd all just go on their way. And then I was getting resentful about all this time I was spending for nothing. So the shifts I've made around that are, one, I'm very upfront with them, that like I have no qualms or shame about saying this is a sales call. My intention is to, like, having certainty that what I have to offer up levels their world, and that I'm excited to offer that to them, and there's no fucking way I offer that for free or cheap. I'm way too fucking valuable for that, and my wife deserves more, my kids deserve more, I deserve more. So just knowing that right up front. And then my sales conversations kind of vary. So for instance, the example I gave you yesterday about the call I had yesterday, it was a dude. There are certain dudes where I'm like, if I get salesy and pitchy at all with this person, they're going to be completely like, fuck you, basically. It's like a dishonor. There's certain people that if they get on the call and they can't just shoot straight with me like, hey, dude, what's up? How you doing? And I don't feel like they're just truly there to serve me, but I can read through all their little sales techniques, then I have an instant reaction of fuck you. Like, you're trying to manipulate me into a sell you don't actually care about. You're not actually here listening and connecting with me. You're just using strategies and techniques to close me. And it's dishonoring. Like, I feel dishonored. I feel like, do you fucking know who you're talking to? Is the response that comes up in me. So being aware of that, I always connect on a deep level, an authentic level, and truly am interested in them and their best, what's best for them. And if that means sending them to a different coach beside myself, if that means just saying, no, we're not a fit, if that means, having them join a program, I'm always staying on track with those things. So some of these people, if they've been in the sales game for a long time and the marketing game for a long time, I cut out all strategy and technique. Like, I'm thinking principle only, just how do I meet this person? Because I don't want them to have that experience of me, of experience, because they know all the tricks, they know all the games, and if they have the same response I do, that'd be like, fuck, dude, quit trying to play me. You're trying to play a player, right? So I cut all that out and I just shoot really straight and raw. And depending on the personality, like, there's some people, softer or medium personalities I can guide them to questions by asking them questions, or guide them to answers by asking them questions, both in the coaching process and the sales process. Type A personalities, or red type personalities, tend to respond better to, like, Garrett's verbiage. Don't be a pussy. That type of tell them, right? So if I get on with an A type, rather than asking them, oh, so what about this? What about that? What about that? This guy I got on with yesterday, I was like, hey, tell me where you're at. What's going on? Okay, tell me more. What about this? What about that? And then I just dove into coaching him, brought him through 2 incredibly powerful coaching processes. And then rather than asking him his gap, I told him his gap. I said, look, you're being a pussy here. You're not following through here. You're this. You're doing that. You're looking at it this way, that, and that. And if you don't do something to change this and this and this up, you're fucked. And that's why you need my group. So with that type of personality, I go completely bold and I tell him how it is. I don't ask him, I tell him. And I cut straight to the fucking heart. So same like Sean Whalen. I was his coach all through Warrior. And he was broke and insecure and didn't want to make a post on Facebook. This is where Sean Whalen was. If anyone follows him, he posts all the time now, and he had a viral post and all this shit. Well, in the beginning, I was seriously coaching him through the mindset and being okay with posting and letting go of his past and how to post and all this shit. Well, he's now gone and had a viral post. I've never had a viral post. He literally went out to millions on some post he posted that was very similar to a lot of stuff all of us post, but for whatever reason it struck the right chords in the right moment and it sent out and boom, was forwarded to millions. And now he has this following and all this shit's working for him. But one of the things, I taught him the 5 gates and he struggled and struggled with it and he wasn't closing the sales. And when he got more bold and direct, and his ideal client is that type of client. So he just gets on the phone now. He was doing like an hour-long 5 gates conversation. Now he gets on, he's like, look, bottom line is we're going to fucking go to Detroit, we're going to flip some house, we're going to make some cash, it's 10 grand. You fucking ready to go or not? and and they're like, okay, let's go. And that's like, so for his guys, that works amazing. It's some version of that. So don't just assume that you meet all people from the same place. Meet them according to their personality type and how they're best going to respond. And for you, Brandon, it's likely that you get to tap into more of a warrior energy and more of a calling them out on their shit and being bold and telling them the mean, hard things that most people are too pussy to tell them. That's likely a big part, so don't get too caught up in overcoaching them and providing too much value. Don't get too caught up in always following the 5 gates. And then what to do, the main thing to do would be get bold and show them, look, you're looking at it this way, you're doing this, you don't have this, you don't know that. So point out their gap and then go hard into the gap and into the commitment. So if I was like, look, Brandon, or no, let me talk to you, Jonathan. Look, Jonathan, you're one of the most brilliant fucking guys I know. You know more about marketing than I do. But here the fuck you are, broke. I'm making fucking 10 times the income you're making, and you know 10 times what I know. And the problem is, 1, you're being a pussy. 2, you're not fucking implementing. 3, you don't have the accountability and the support you need to break through your bullshit. 4, you got self-worth issues. 5, if you don't have the right environment, you're fucked. And blah, blah, blah. And then I feel into the energy, and if I feel you kind of like going quiet and whatever, I might say, how are you feeling? What are you noticing? Fuck, that's all true. Yeah, right? And what's that been costing you? How long's that been going on? How long are you going to keep allowing yourself to know you're a fucking badass and attend another training and another training and another training, getting more technique, more skill sets, still fucking staying stuck? You want to keep doing that for another year? 2 years? 5 years? 10 years? You want to fucking give up and go get a job in a cubicle? See, I'm rubbing the salt in the wound, rubbing it. And then you're like talking with me, yeah, fuck that, hell no. I'm like, look, the way I see it, you got 2 choices. You can keep fiddle fucking around and mentally masturbating and go get a job in a cubicle, or you can get the skill sets, the mindsets, and the environment you need to fucking break free once and for all. Which of those do you want? Well, to break free. Sweet. So how committed to that are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how fucking committed to solving that are you, Jonathan? Yeah, if you're like a 10, I'm like, okay, well, let's fucking get you going in my program. I don't even have to tell you what the program is. All right. You're a 10, let's get you going. All right, what do we got to do? That's how easy the close of the sell is if you've identified their problem and driven fucking the knife in the heart, and then you're certain about your solution. With 0 details. I don't go into, so, by the way, all right, my program is 2-hour call on Monday and a 2-hour call on Wednesday, and then we have a group forum. No, like if you told me you're committed on a level 10, if you said, well, like a level 9, I'm like, well, 9's not going to cut it. You still going to be a pussy? Or are you fucking going to solve this? 9 is as bad as 1. Like, oh, well, I don't know. I don't have the time. Well, I guess you don't want it then. No, I want it. Well, what's it going to take to be a level 10? You know, how long are you going to suffer? How long are you going to fucking let your life suffer? How long are you going to send your kid to bullshit schools? How long are you going to worry about this and that and the other? And I go back into the pain. I'm like, are you ready to solve this? Yes or no? Yes. How committed are you? A 10. Okay, let's get you moving forward. Again, it's not the logistics. Everyone who went to Cancun had no fucking idea what we were doing in Cancun.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about the logistics. You're not selling them on the logistics. Once you've got them to that point of 100% commitment to solving it, and you've gone to their prison, you've gone to their paradise, you've identified their gap, and you show up with that certainly like, hey, well, let's get you going. the chances of them saying anything besides okay, what's next, is slim to none. Make sense? Did you get what you needed out of that? What you wanted? What would break you free? Okay, anything you want to add? Just go ahead and share with the group what clicked for you, what you're noticing.
No, it was amazing. Yeah. So if my gaps, I'm weak. I'm really weak. I pretty much ask them and expect them to give me the answer, like, oh yeah, there is this huge gap. I'm not calling it out. I'm not driving the knife at all. Which then makes my close weak.
Yeah.
So that's a huge aha. So I'll be working on that, practicing that, doing that.
Awesome. Now there's others who I'll ask them their gap, and they'll tell me a few things, and I'll be like, yeah, absolutely. Uh-huh. Yeah, and that too. Yep, you're right on. You're absolutely right. And then I'll be like, is there anything else? Yeah, that's all I'm seeing. I'm like, okay, let me show you what I see. On top of those two things you just told me, there's this, and there's this, and there's that, and there's bam, and there's bam, and then bam. And they're like, oh, fuck, didn't see any of that. Whoa, this guy knows me. He knows where I'm at. He sees shit I can't even comprehend. If he can see that, and he has a roadmap out of this place, I got to follow this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I still heard them. I still let the answers come from them. And then I punched them, bam, 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 bam. And then they're like, okay, got it. Let's go.
Brilliant. No, that's amazing. One, this probably is because I didn't knife the gap enough. But I don't talk about logistics, but on a couple of the calls I get asked that towards the close. Like after the close, after I've handled a few objections, then they ask, oh, well, what does it look like? How does it work? Is that just because I haven't really tapped into their deepest pain enough yet? Or if not, is there a way that you handle those questions?
It could just be that they're an oracle. So there was a guy in particular that was wanting to go to Cancun with us. And he's like, he messaged me, he's like, I don't know, I just don't know the logistics, and I need to know the agenda, and how often I'll be able to get to Wi-Fi, and how well the phone service is. And I'm like, dude.
And we said.
Nice. All right, cool.
That's it.
I just told him, look, if you're gonna get hung up on that shit, you're not fucking welcome to come. If you're gonna be a pussy and you're gonna base a decision this big in your life, knowing the value we've covered, knowing the importance of you being here, and you're gonna make the decision off of logistics, fuck off. I said, I'm not going to give you those logistics. I'm not going to give you those details. What you can expect is that we're going to be in the jungle. We're going to do crazy shit. We're going to have epic breakthroughs. And I have no fucking idea how much Wi-Fi and phone you're going to have, and I'm not going to make any commitments around it.
Love it.
Now, he didn't come, and I'm glad he didn't.
Watched the section several times.
Okay, so now there's other people at the end of the call. They may be an oracle or something. The details are really important for them to feel safe and secure. And I might say, it's epic. We've covered all the key things we've talked about mindset, about environment, about skill set. So you're going to get a call every week where you're going to be with the group, getting the accountability, and you're going to be getting the breakthrough work. Then there's a separate call where we're going to be doing the mindset and skill set training. And then there's going to be this online forum where you interact and get support all throughout the week. All the details, it'll all work out as we move forward. Right now, let's just handle payment. We'll get you moving forward, and we'll handle all the dates. I'll get you added to the group, and then it'll all make sense as we move forward. Fucking that quick. That's all they need to know. I don't go, well, there's a 2-hour call on Mondays that sometimes goes over, sometimes less. And what happens, we have this guy named Kyle, and he gets on, and first you're going to go through, and then you're going to go through, and then you're going to go through, and then on Wednesdays, the blah, 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 and the blah, and the blah, 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 and the group, and the, no. It's only what's relevant. It's only what's relevant to their results. You don't want to give them any excuse to overwhelm themselves or play any bullshit games to get themselves stuck.
So I have something on that, though, Jonathan, is that when people are like Chris is saying, when they want the logistics, okay, so what I call out on people's bullshit there is that when you want to go into the logistics and you have to know how, it might be their perfectionist identity where they're like, this is how the reason they want to know how to operate in that is because they need safety and security that they're going to be okay. And that they know it's going to be successful and they're not going to fail. And it's a bullshit game. It's an internal safety net that guards them from actually moving forward. So when people are like, your job is to go, you're here, I'm going to take you here. There's a path and a process to that. We're going to get you here. That's all you really need to know. So when they go, well, or you send me details, or what about this and this and this? And I go, so when your mind wants to go into logistics, it's because either you don't trust yourself or you don't trust me. Which is it? And if they're like, so what's the thought coming up? Well, I have to know how it's going to look. And see, this is when I break into their bullshit game of that they're scared, they're operating out of, I have to know how it's going to look to maybe take a step forward. And that's the same bullshit game that's holding them back. So the logistical mind always wants to take you into the details because then you're looking for evidence you're either going to fail, it's not going to work for you, or that I am going to be okay and I fail. This is the deal. This is why you're in this bullshit game. All you need to know is that you're here, I'm going to take you here. And we're going to take it an inch at a time and hold your hand and walk you through this process. So the moment they go logistical, see, we want to keep them in their emotional mind, in their emotion, right? That they're feeling the pain, they want the pleasure. So the moment they go, well, give me all the logistics, the basic logistics I give even for my mind-body program, I'm like, this is the deal. That you get a one group call a week with me where I break through shit, one personal call with coach where they break through your shit, you get a daily nutrition fitness accountability coach to hold you accountable, and a weekly accountability coach, and we take you down the process from A to Z. That's it. That's all I share. And even with Badass, we're like, we're going to take you through deep inner work, break through the bullshit. That's all you need to know. So when they start to ask these questions, you bring it back to there's a reason why and it's great because it's feedback that they're not closed yet. They're not secure in it. But the feedback is either you don't trust yourself or you don't trust me. Either they're like, I'm not sure you're going to take me there, and you get to create more value in showing them that you are, or I don't trust myself that I'm going to do it, I'm going to be successful, and I'm looking for a reason to have evidence that I can't. So you still get to break that down more so that they see the value in doing it. But awesome. I wouldn't necessarily say, okay, this means gives them more logistics. Like Chris said, you make it very simple. What applies to them? Awesome, you want some logistics? I'll give you as much as I feel like you need, but that's all. But that's just enough to know this is the process. That's all you need to know. The rest is we're going to take you through the bullshit game. So that's a red flag for me. When they want logistics, that's what's going on for them.
The next thing that's coming up for me, great share, thank you, Marcy, is like energetically, I'm not trying, if you're in that phone call, in my original phone calls, it's like, okay, how do I got to say this so that they'll enroll? Okay. And I'm listening and I'm strategizing and how am I going to play this so that I can make a sell? Now, like, the energy is completely shifted. I get on the phone, and I don't give a fuck less whether I enroll them or not. Like, if it's a perfect fit, and we line up, and whatever, and if the end it makes sense, then great, we'll move forward. And if not, I got on and I provided value, and that was awesome, and we'll see what happens down the road. So rather than, like, what do I got to say, and how do I got to show up to have them like me, imagine being in the dating game and you're so like insecure in yourself that you're just thinking, how do I say every word to have it approved and have them like me? Like, the chance of them liking you is impossible because you don't like yourself. But when I show up on the call and I'm like, I'm just going to be unapologetically me. Call them out on their shit. Say the shit that no one else dares say. Be 100% me. If I'm like the guy I was with yesterday was a total warrior dude, and I was doing all this deep, deep healer shit with him. And my mind was saying, this is way too woo-woo for this warrior dude. But I knew that's what I needed, what he most needed, and what I got to do. And it wasn't like, oh no, what do I need to do to have him like me so that he'll buy my shit? It was, what do I get to do to show up the way I get to show up right now? And then whatever comes, comes. I don't care if he left that call thinking, that dude's a weird old douchebag. Why did I do that call? I showed up and gave my message. I showed up as all of me, and what he thinks at the end of that is none of my business. And so if you approach your sales calls not from, how do I get on this call to get them to like me and buy me? It's, I'm getting on this fucking call to be me and provide max value and make an offer. And I don't care whether they like me, and I don't care whether they buy. And if anything, I'm disqualifying them. I'm looking for why I wouldn't want to work with them. And if during the course of that call, so like another guy I talked to yesterday, a free strategy session, big ass whiner victim. The first warrior guy I told you about, he'll be a great client. We'll do some business. I didn't sell him on the spot, but I planted seeds and made a deep deposit, and I can reopen that conversation anytime I want. I could message him today and say, hey dude, that was an awesome conversation yesterday. I've got some great ideas about what I can do to rock your world moving forward. Let's connect. And boom, I'm right back in, and now I go on to a head-on sales conversation, close them on the spot. So I built that relationship and made deposits. I needed to finish that call with him and get on to another commitment, so there was zero proposition or sales offering, just seeds and planting, seeds, value, contributions to the relationship, and I can call him and close him at any time now, at will. I could just say, tomorrow I'm going to call that dude and enroll him. Now, there was another dude I was on with. While I was meeting the Puma, I was on with this other dude. I'm like, bad connection, click. I didn't say that, but literally I just hung up on him. I just fucking hung up, and I'm like, but that guy was a total, like, wimpy, victim-y, whiny. It was so clear to me I wanted nothing to do with coaching that dude long term. But I finished the call. I gave him an hour, hour and a half, and totally empowered him in a tremendous way. But I wanted nothing to do with ongoing coaching with him. I've dealt with this type before. He's too whiny, too victim-y. So I was like, okay, I'm on the phone. My job is to serve. I'm going to serve and rock his world in every way possible and give him the best possible scenario to go succeed. But I wouldn't make a pitch to him. No fucking way. I left zero. I didn't even present any type of an opening for even future conversation. I said, okay, dude, you're set. Great call. Glad you're on course. Glad you feel empowered. Fucking go tear it up. I'll send you the best of everything. And it was all authentic, heartfelt, was glad to do it. Served one of my brothers, and he's going to do with it what he will. If he doesn't, and I lined him up, like, go get a support group. And we developed a game plan where he could get free support from this, and this, and implement this, and this, and a very solid game plan. And he had about 5 or 10 breakthroughs in the process. But I was clear 5 minutes. I was clear 5 minutes into that conversation that there was no offering going to happen. So when you're getting on the phone, it's not about, oh shit, I tried to manipulate and get them into my program and they didn't choose it, I failed. It's like, no, I'm on the call. It's a fit, great. It's not a fit, great. And I'm here to disqualify them. Mm-hmm. If they don't align with me, I'm deciding they're out. If they do align with me, I'm saying, cool, let's get you going. And then they may say yes, they may say no. Doesn't fucking matter. we may be where we get to go today. Anything else up for anybody? Anything you want to share, Marcy?
I was just filling into it. I think just the only thing I'd add is from the last part that you said is that when you see it as your value of you is so important, it's almost like you decide who is gonna be the energy that you allow into your space. Because your energy and your value is so important. For me, it's like, whose energy am I gonna share, right? Like, it's that important. And knowing that if I bring a total victim that's not going to show up and Chris has said this before, is that they just don't show up and then it's just bad results for you, which then shows badly on you versus attracting the people who are really going to do something. So getting into that space where you're just like, yeah, like I have no desire to work with somebody who's not going to show up. And the more you think about it this way, like, so Jonathan, this comes up for me with you, where you're saying like I've just been weak and like calling them on their bullshit or really like being like allowing my power to come through. Confidence is the #1 key to sales. So the more you're like, all right, awesome, well, this is what I'm hearing. It's like if you don't go for that and do that, you're not going to make the sale anyways and everybody loses. The only way you can save them in a way is to fight for them by truly sharing every authentic piece of that part, right? So, and also you clearly saying the logistics of the part of like what your value is. So for me, people, I'm like, this is a deal. We're going to break through, your shit's going to show up. This is why it's an investment in you, and this is what you get to expect. You invest, you take on the spot. If you decide to run, you're SOL. You're committed and the money's gone. That's why you invest in yourself, because there's no way because that holds you accountable to facing your shit and walking through your shit. And it's like I'm very clear on laying out, this is what you're going to go through. So there's so that even more so makes them go, oh my gosh, like this is a really valuable position to be in. I'm like, I am very, very, very picky on who I let in my space, on who gets to share my energy and who I will put my effort and energy to. So I only want to move forward if this is a total fit. And by doing that and you speaking that truth even more so, saying, you know, I'm very clear, black and white, of if you're going to be in the right space. If you're not, then there's other options. Let's get you, and it might be you looking at how you get to create recording the things that you do, that there's an at-home program, you know, or there's a different, awesome, this sounds like the best thing for you right now. Because I'm very clear, I still want to help people, but I'm not going to give my personal time, effort, and energy to someone who is not going to be ready for that. Because it doesn't do any of us. It doesn't serve any of us. It's just a disservice to me and to them. So that's the only thing I'd add to that, is allow yourself to speak clearly. When you set those boundaries, you're going to get really clear on it, like when Chris and I did with the guy, where he's like, well, this and this and this. We're like, listen, motherfucker, we don't know who the hell you're going to be rooming with. We don't give a fuck if there's Wi-Fi or not. You're not going for those reasons. And when they're like, and we're like, awesome, we have no desire for you to be in our space. It would be a pain in the ass to worry about, do you have your Wi-Fi? Is it okay if you room with this person? Are you going to have your own bathroom? I was like, listen, motherfucker, I don't even know if I'm going to have my own bathroom. It's not why I'm going. So get clear on the logistics and you'll feed them out. And then support yourself by seeing every single person that looks like a not a fit is a gift for you to open up the space for the right people to come into play. And I just think I want to say motherfucker one more time. Motherfucker! Because I do it so cool. Sometimes I make myself laugh, and whether you're laughing or not, I'm like, I'm so funny. You guys miss me being in my space, don't you, Jonathan and Brandon? Rachel, you know how it is.
So one more add to that is, when you're on the phone with them, if you're like, I really enjoy talking to this person, I feel edified and energized, that's a good sign. It's like, oh, this feels hard. Yeah, but I really need the money. Maybe I could probably put up with this shit for the money. It'd be nice to have. No, just say no. Like literally, there's a guy right now that wants to be in this group, and we worked with him a little bit.
You messaged me and I'm like, I do not want him in the group. No. And we both said, yep, agreed. No.
Super whiny, super victim-y, super stuck, super in his head, unwilling to shift, all just like pulling nails to get him to move 1 inch. And we're like, no, 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 no. Like, I don't give a shit what price he would pay. I don't care how much he begged. No. If we just let that one person in this group, we just let cancer into the group. And now we're spending all this energy and time dealing. I would spend more energy dealing with him and his emotional baggage and drama and bullshit than I spend on all of you and my wife combined. So it's like, no, no, no. If you get the right people, it's easy, it's fun. So just think, is talking to this person edifying me? Do I enjoy this conversation? Would I spend my spare time with this person? If the answer is no, it's no. Don't take their money. Awesome. Anything else? Are we done for today?
It's because we're awesome. Of course you'd spend your spare time with us. I just want to reiterate what Chris said, in that if it feels good, when I choose the people that I personally coach, it feels like best friends. It feels like I have fun talking to them. I enjoy talking to them. It's more like, it doesn't feel like work or effort at all. It's just like the people I surround myself with, my team. It's like my family. I only surround myself with the best, and that's how it feels. So it feels awesome, and it's easy to work with them because they totally want what I do. So I tune into that. What Chris was saying is, it's like, did I really enjoy having this conversation with this person, or did it feel like, oh my gosh, they are so fucked and they're so draining, you know? Then it's a no. No. I'm so funny.
You're awesome, Marcy.
I know. Thank you. You are too.
Thanks. Okay, guys, great call.
Love you all.
Have an amazing week. Come out of the shadows. Show up. Exchange. Show up on the forum. Ask for help. Don't stay stuck. Get free. Shift rather than drift. Free yourselves. Liberate yourselves. Make money. Value yourselves. Market. Expand your network. Reach out. Provide value. Share your message. Be your creative expression in the world. Sing your song. Own it. Break out your warrior in your marketing and your sales. Go for it. Fight for them. Fight for you. Fight for your family. Fight for your freedom. Not as in a struggle. Allow it to be easeful. Open up. Allow it to come to you. Don't be the guy who lays down on the battlefield and says, I can't do it. Don't be the gal who says it's too hard. Sits in the shadows and then fades out and gives up and demonstrates to yourself and your loved ones and your children how to be small and stuck and live a half-assed life. Do the opposite. Go against the grain. Stand up. Don't hide your light under a bushel. Shine it from the mountaintops. Let them hear you. Let them see you. Stick a finger in it. That's a Brandon.
Not my fucking porch. As I'm running around in my Batman underwear, I got get off the fucking porch. The rest of you are just like, what the hell went on there? Oh, that's right. It was Superwoman underwear. Thanks.
Oh, bitch.
I was wearing Superwoman underwear. Excited to see that video.
I
yeah, you got video footage of that.
Oh yeah, I was running around the jungle in my Superwoman underwear and my red bikini top, and I was saving myself. It's awesome.
I was just sitting there at the table with Christopher, and we just heard you yelling out into the distance.
I was just acting on pure inspiration. It's awesome.
Okay, guys, create an amazing week. We'll see you on the boards.
Love you guys.